Fitness is being able to do what you do safely.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to lift this bag of manure, I can lift it up safely.
Yeah.
So we're going to start talking about what we talked about last time. So we're going to talk about defining expectation, because when I was a kid, the greatest thing in the whole wide world was when we were about to go on a trip, or even when my dad was going to work, my brother and I got to fight over who started the car. So the car could warm up outside for 10 to 15 minutes. And that's actually a realistic expectation on what we should be doing physically. We should warm up for at least 15 minutes before physical activity. But now, like my car now, I get in my car, I push a button, it lights up, and it's beautiful. This whole display, you would think you were at a rave. And then you just take off, and there's no warming up. When I brought it up last class, how I saw this guy, I thought he could do that. He got up, he had all his running gear on. I could tell he wasn't warming up in the house, and he just took off in a run. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. I was actually impressed until I saw him about 50 yards down the way holding his calf. And I'm like, he didn't warm up. So the realistic belief and understanding is we have to warm up our bodies. There's a certain amount of maintenance. And so we're dealing a lot, especially with men, holy cow, that they believe that they're 18 years old. And they're going to stay 18 years old and they never have to warm up. And the reason why at 18 years old they didn't have to warm up was because at 18 years old, they have something called amnesia. This is why women get pregnant and they don't realize how horrific it is to have a baby. Birth amnesia, they call it. So at 18, you have experiential amnesia. So they don't realize they have to warm up too, because I've seen just as horrific, especially Maria and I during COVID, saw in a lot of teenagers injuries consistent of like 40-year-old men on 18-year-olds.
Well, when we went to Vegas for Kai's basketball tournament, it's like 3 of the kids on the team cramped up, and so I ended up having to stretch them the whole tournament because they just don't warm up.
So the reason is that they're willing, when they're sore, to forget about it and go back and do their activity until they create mastery. Whereas adults, we feel pain and then we want to stop. That's the difference. And so that's why we're going to work on stuff today. So we're going to start out just by stretching. Put the block underneath the ball of your left foot. Abs are nice and tight. Feet are parallel. First, second, third chakras are on. You guys are smiling up. It's a beautiful day. You're going to pump your hips forward. Smiles are up. Keep breathing. Keep your abs engaged. They don't want to shut off, especially at the terminal point, so you don't have to release the stretch in your calf. But release the stretch in your calf. Keep your abs nice and tight. Smiles are up. And then we're going to bend and straighten your right leg. Keep sucking in your tummy, especially on the terminal spot down here. You'll want to turn off your abs. Keep them sucked in. I have the same eating disorder. Yeah, that's why I don't buy light colored shirts. Okay, switch sides.
We actually have a phrase at home for that. You Michael Luand.
Well, there's a problem with utensils. Utensils are designed to throw it at your chest.
Yeah, the magnetic force.
Yeah.
The magnetic force.
I think it's the Starbucks coffee cups that aren't on right.
Yeah, see, they don't put the lid on right. Okay.
Sippy cup.
Switch side? Yeah, see? I'm glad I'm in a good congress of people. Abs are nice and tight. Pump that hip forward. Abs are nice and tight. Jaws relaxed. Keep breathing. Suck in that tummy.
It's like when we got the new couch and sofa.
I've been banned from eating on the couch.
Kai was like, "You're gonna let him eat on it?"
You get one of those doggy covers.
You know, I saw this little kid. He had a silicone like bib with a little catchment. I'm like, do they make this for adults? Because I was trying to get it around my neck. Okay, bend and straighten your left leg.
First floor.
I will rip that out at a restaurant. I mean,
Yeah.
I have no problems with doing that. Or was it where we went to get lobster and they gave us like full out? I'm like, can I have a few of these? And then switch sides.
It's like having a food fight by yourself.
Yes. I have a friend who's an MD. He dresses impeccably, but all his clothes are stained right down the middle.
Kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Well, he looks nice from afar.
Yeah.
That's why they make scrubs.
Me?
14.
Okay.
20.
Okay. I'm going to move that block aside momentarily. We're going to roll out the bottom of your foot. That's your left foot. Feet are parallel. You can go side to side, absolutely, or circles, figure eights, doesn't matter. But keep those feet parallel. Abs are engaged. First, second, third chakras are on. I never could understand why skiers don't just like regularly blow out their knees, blow out their knees, blow out. It's because if you have your core on and you have this extended lever arm, which is a ski, you never should blow out your knee. And when someone does start blowing out their knees, they immediately put them into core training. Okay? You're going to put that ball under the ball of your foot. Heel goes down. We're going to do a little exercise. You're going to squeeze down, toes together, up and apart, down and together, up and apart. Suck in your tummy as you're doing this. This becomes not only abs, but pelvic floor exercises. We're going to go over some pelvic floor exercises today.
10.
Okay, now we're going to drop it under our heel. Since most of the time as humans, we're actually supposed to be spending on our forefoot, and if you look at most dogs and four-legged creatures, they don't even put their heel down. That weird thing on the back of their leg is actually their heel. They're calcaneus.
The hawk.
The what's it called?
The hawk.
The hawk. Abs are nice and tight. So you're going to be up on here, and you're going to move your leg around. Your job is not to increase the pain on that front part of your heel, which can be because this is where the plantar fascia attaches, and if you have plantar fasciitis, it can be quite tender. Your job is to figure out how to keep the work up in your core. And this is your rehab for plantar fasciitis. Your quad should be working, your butt should be working, your abs should be working, you should look like you're river dancing. Abs are nice and tight. Or Argentine tango. And good, let's switch sides. It'll help with your tap dancing too. Abs are nice and tight. You're learning the trick. Keep it to your core. And it's the less amount that your core goes up and down. So imagine if you were like tap dancing and you have to lift your core up and down every tap. It's just you're moving your foot. That's super easy.
Aren't we rolling it out first?
Oh yes, I was going to roll it out. Roll out the foot. Telling a great story here. Abs are nice and tight. Keep those feet parallel.
I will not be subjected to asymmetry.
So we work with a dancer, and she's really cute because everything has to be symmetrical. And she saw the dance she had to perform, and it's all on the right side. She's all, I got to spend an extra hour a day dancing out the other side of my body so it feels symmetrical. Okay, ball goes under the ball of your foot as your toes come together at the bottom, up and apart, down and together, up and apart. Yeah, I'll go up to her and scratch her right shoulder, and I'll just wait. Then you'll see her scratch your left shoulder.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take it forward onto the ball of your foot. Same thing, we're going to do our little Argentine tango, river dancing, leg motion. Feel how to keep the work up in your core, don't let it go down into your foot. This is creating stability on your standing extremity, even though the ground underneath you is not so stable. And this is why it takes a little bit to get into wearing high heels. And that's why it's also lovely to take them off at the end of the day.
Like being in Hawaii, you get so lazy. slippers everywhere.
But high heels were never designed to be worn as shoes.
They were never functional. There was never a function to them. They're not better in a stirrup. They're not keeping you out of the mud. Okay, feet back down. See what your feet feel like against the ground now. Your calves should feel nice and alive. Suck in your tummies, shoulder blades down and back. Should be easy now. Your feet are touching this time. You're going to hinge forward, straight spine, and then bring it back out. Push your hips forward. Keep your pelvic floor on. That's your first chakra. Second chakra, your lower abs. Third chakra, your upper abs. None of this should go in your low back.
Thank you.
None of this. Suck it in. Yeah, it's so funny because I got this sinus infection. I took a COVID test and I'm like, please be COVID, please be. That's the only thing that could explain me being feeling this awful. Okay, we're gonna stand on top of our blocks, and by standing on it, I mean both feet are standing on it. This is important if you have something to say. Abs are nice and tight. You're gonna curl your toes around the front, grip the block. We're going to do little squats. This is our athletic ready posture, but our feet are touching. You're going to squat down as low as you possibly can, and then you're going to come back up. Squeeze the block. You'll notice your toes want to do some curly, gnarly things. Don't let it do that. Just hold on to the block like it's a perch, and then come back up. You should feel your quads working, your butt working, your abs working, not your low back. Keep breathing. Lower, Annie. You have to bend your knees. This will help your skiing. You guys ski, any of you? Or snowboard? This is probably the hardest thing is creating the deepest angle at your knee, because that creates great shock absorption out of the joint.
10.
Okay, good. Step off the blocks. This will be super easy now. Your feet are together like they just were. We're going to do this fast now. There is a miserable machine. I was so in love with it. That they make Olympic athletes, skiers, go on. And it's a ski machine, and all it does is go up and down, and they got to stay on it. And yeah, makes their quads nice and strong, their butt nice and strong.
Maria stopped, so I stopped.
Is that 10? Oh, okay. Oh, I was joining you.
Yes.
Okay, knee on the block. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. Okay, always we start with the head over top of block, hip circling. Suck in that tummy, activate your riding reflex. Yeah, whenever Mari and I go out to eat, I'm like, what restaurant are we going to? Opposite direction. And then they match my clothing to the food they're serving.
10.
Okay, back to balance. Hands and stick them up, lift, hold, gently lower. Abs engaged. Keep breathing. Asian food with soy sauce, brown tones. Okay, watch this.
Sparkly.
Switch sides. We don't have our Christmas lights or twinkly lights. Abs are nice and tight. Hip circles once again.
Yeah, most people take those Tide.
Oh, Tide sticks? I used to do that. They don't work.
Yeah, well, you have to take the whole bottle.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Opposite direction.
That was only 6.
No, I was counting. I can. You were turning on the lights. I had 4. Abs.
10.
Here we go. Lift, hold, gently lower. Notice one side's clearly easier than the other side. We don't want a clearly easier than the other side situation because that creates a limp. Okay, good. Watch this. Switch sides. No hands. Forgot what I was going to do. Oh, yes, I remember now. Toes are curled under. Left hand is forward, right hand is back. We're going to lift up 1 inch. 1 inch. Abs are nice and tight. We're going to hold. Woo. Don't push me. Don't push me. I told you not to push me. Abs are nice and tight. 10.
9.
Oh.
10.
Okay, good. See? Switch sides, no hands. Okay, finally. Right hand forward, left hand back. We're going to hold 1 inch off the block. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking your tummy. Works in your quad and your butt, and quad. Okay, switch sides. Gets better from here. Shoulder blades are down and back. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in your tummy. Lift up 1 inch. We're going to hinge forward, come back up. No pressure in your low back. No pressure in your knees. Hold your balance. No airbagging your belly against your thigh. Stay about 1 inch off the block. What number?
10.
Okay, switch sides. I promise you, you don't do these during the day. Abs are nice and tight, 1 inch. And here we go, we're gonna hinge forward. Smiles are up. 1 inch above the block. Bless you. Yes, we are finding imbalances and weaknesses right away.
10.
Okay, switch sides. Keep breathing. Okay, we're going to lift up 1 inch and then straighten that rear leg. Hinge forward. Come back up. Knee back down. Up. Forward. Back down. No pressure in your low back. Straight spine. Good job, everyone. You should feel muscles burning, not joints. You should be very encouraged by that fact. Smiles are up.
Nine. 10.
And you did not die, so you should be encouraged by that fact too. Okay, here we go. 1 inch above. Here we go. Straighten that leg. Touch the ground. Come back up. Lower that knee down. Lift it up. Touch the ground. Suck in your tummies. Smiles are up. No pressure in your low back. Smiles are up. We gotta be able to carry body weight.
Keep breathing.
Do you want to know one of the hardest body weight tests is a 1 minute hang on a bar.
10.
Okay, good. All right. You're going to grab our ball, our block, our ball and block. Oh, we can turn up the AC.
Yeah, we
let's
could
just
turn it down.
She just told us. You're not being a wimp. This is hard.
Another Michael Luan thing, he turns the air conditioning on to
I
like
did not
80
do that.
degrees. Huh?
It comes in kind of
Oh, it
loud.
doesn't matter.
Mario will bring it down to freezing, don't you worry.
If we're using the energy, might as well.
Okay, you're having a seat on top of your ball, on top of the block. We're going to work the pelvic floor. We're going to break it up into quadrants. So I want you to visualize the pelvic bowl. The ball's midway between your pubic bone and your tailbone. The quadrants are, once it's broken up into that 4, right anterior, left anterior, right posterior, left posterior. So we have 4 quadrants, and it's amazing how we'll end up using only 2 quadrants. And then that's what causes a lot of imbalance in the pelvic floor. The way we're going to represent it is the 2 anterior portions of the pelvic floor are going to be your index and third finger. So when we tell you to contract, you can bend your fingers to help you contract even more. So if I say right anterior, you're going to contract the right anterior. If you're going to contract the left anterior, contract the left anterior. Now to get the posterior triangles, you're going to use your pinky and ring finger. So if we're going to get it as a group, you can lower both fingers, and that'll be much like puckering. Okay, feel it? If we want to get the right side, we could get the right posterior, left posterior. Right posterior, left posterior. Got it? What we want to do is put it to work in conjunction with your abs. Shoulder blades are down and back. Your head's over the top of your body, and this is where it'll begin. We're going to do abs according to pelvic floor. You're going to do right anterior, left posterior. Right anterior, left posterior. So you may feel your hips going like this at an angle, but make sure you don't use your quads, instead using your pelvic floor.
Don't forget to smile.
Right anterior, left
Everybody's
anterior.
really concentrating.
Try to feel it. I know, especially if this is your first go at it, you don't feel a thing.
So as you do this, and as you're concentrating and your butt cheeks are squeezing, try to relax your glutes and really, really focus on your pelvic floor.
Okay, and then we're going to do left anterior, right posterior. Left anterior, right posterior. You'll notice the obliques kick on too, which they should. Now you really see how all fundamental motion starts in the pelvic floor.
So this is like taking a step forward with your left foot.
Okay, then we're going to do right side as a group. You're going to contract everything on the right, which will get your obliques. Left side, so it's like you're moving your hips side to side, but you're doing it with your pelvic floor. Okay, now we're going to do front and back. So anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior. Try not to use your butt. It'll be really tempting to use your butt on this. This is about more pelvic floor attention than you'll ever give to your pelvic floor during the day.
And it's natural that your glutes kick in a little bit more as you squeeze the posterior, but really try to relax it as you engage the anterior pelvic floor.
Okay, now we're going to do circles. So we're going to start with the left anterior, right posterior, left posterior, right anterior, left posterior, right posterior, left posterior. You get the idea. Just circulate it around, see what it feels like to do this. Y'all are going to become better lovers. Just don't do the hand thing, it's weird. Wow, it did really get humid.
We're all sweating.
Yeah, so our yard's not landscaped yet, one of the things that we're working on. And so every time it rains, all the stuff that's on the ground goes on our cars. Okay, we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to do right anterior, left posterior, right posterior. Right anterior, left posterior, right posterior. Even if you're not getting this and you're doing an honest attempt at this, you're getting your pelvic floor. It should feel like the ball is almost moving underneath you, like it's a giant peppercorn, and you're trying to ground it down. It's the only image I can come up with.
And if you're not really feeling it, just kind of sending your pelvic floor that psychic energy is
a lot.
Lot more attention than it ever gets.
Okay, abs are engaged. We're just going to bounce now. Keep your pelvic floor on. If you're feeling what feels like sharp pain, this is part of the abdomen. So sharp pain is gas. Dull achy pain is fecal material. Deep boring pain is blood stagnation. You want to break it up still. Just make sure you're not on your tailbone. Contract, contract, contract. You squeeze the ball to protect that pelvic floor. So I saw some interesting research that the Russians were doing on their running athletes, and anyone that had a knee problem, they got ladders and progressively made them go up the ladder and jump off, higher levels. And what happened is their knees started tracking. But more importantly, their pelvic floors got really strong because in order to land it, they had to have a strong pelvic floor. Okay? Which is kind of the interesting thing is with CrossFitters, because some of the CrossFitters have the worst pelvic floor issues, and all you have to do is look up how many of the CrossFitters have urinary incontinence issues.
Yeah, it's been triathletes are another. They've done a lot of pelvic floor studies on triathletes.
Abs are nice and tight, chest up, shoulder blades are down and back. We're bouncing. Well, see, that's what they're doing is there's two ways to train. One is to train where you hold your body together in integrity, sort of like what we were talking this morning about, Rachel. Or the other way is to get by. When you get by, you start turning things off. We want to turn things on. Hands and stick them up. We're going to try to bounce as fast as you can now. Keep breathing. And now try to go super fast. That means you're pulling yourself back down to the earth. Okay, good. You're going to come off the block momentarily, ball and block. You're going to take the block away. You're going to have a seat on top of your ball. You can use your blocks if you have short arms like I do. Your feet are flat on the ground. Chest up. Shoulder blades are down and back. Okay? Make sure those feet are parallel. We're going to do hip circles. Abs are nice and tight. Make sure the motion comes from your hips and not from your shoulders. How do you know? You'll know in a second. Go in the opposite direction. We're working all divisions of the pelvic floor now, anterior and posterior pelvic floors, lateral groups. Okay, and here we go. Hands and stick them up. This is where we found out if you're using only your pelvic floor. Keep breathing. This is strengthening the pelvic floor. Keep your pelvic floor on. It's nice and tight. Don't go onto your tailbone.
Opposite direction.
Okay. Believe it or not, these are sit-ups. Okay, hands and feet are going to move in opposite as we go for a walk. Opposite hand, opposite foot. Ooh, I have to get myself situated. Here we go. Good job, everyone. Abs. Woo! Yes, exactly. Okay, legs go straight. Same thing, arms are down, shoulder blades are down, back. You're going to do hip circles. Okay, so this is important. You don't use your ankles to make this motion. Your ankles will move sympathetically, but they're not moving to drive the motion.
10.
Opposite direction. And here's where it becomes important. Hands and stick them up. Let's keep circling away. Smiles are up. Remember, sharp pain is gas. Dull, achy pain is fecal. Opposite direction. Deep boarding pain is blood stagnation or adhesion.
10.
Okay. Now that we're here, arms come to your side as we go for a walk again. Do not bend your legs to make this work. It's opposite hand, opposite foot. You have to be able to lift the full length of your extremity without bending your leg. Ooh, I'm sliding back. This floor is not level.
Sure, blame the floor.
It slopes backwards. But I can compensate for it because I have core.
20.
I got to do 2 more. 1.
I think maybe we'll watch you do it the other way. See how it slopes.
Okay, you're going to cross your legs now. You're going to have your right leg down. You're going to put your left leg on top. You're going to need your blocks for this one. We're just going to stretch. Try to keep the ball closer to your pubic bone, away from that tailbone. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in your tummy. We're going to do sit-ups here. Chest is nice and tall. Head's over top of the ball. You're going to suck in your tummy as hard as you can and release. Suck it in and release. Your job is to feel like you're lifting all your abdominal contents up off of your pelvic floor. Every one of your internal organs is a suspensory organ. They like being suspended on. They don't like being slouched on.
10.
Okay, switch legs. Since we worked with dancers and have been working with dancers, it's always interesting to watch them stretch because we want them to stretch the way we visualize stretching. Is lean over, hold that stretch, and they constantly flow through stretch.
Yeah, they've really trained to let go without muscular engagement.
Yeah,
So.
they don't lose that integrity through motion.
10.
Okay, legs go apart. So just start out by wiggling side to side. You can bend one leg, straighten the other, open everything up. Actually, Rachel and I had a really interesting conversation about how Lance Armstrong could do how many kilojoules?
7 watts.
Oh, 7 watts.
Per kilogram of body weight.
Yeah, so he could transfer a huge amount of energy into each stroke of his pedaling. And none of it was lost going any other direction. So it wasn't going out his shoulders, or you have a shoulder problem, it wasn't going out his low back. It was going straight through the pedal. And that's what happens as we decondition. Our energy starts going everywhere instead of into the action that we want to do. Okay, now we're going to flow. Flow to the left, flow to the right, back and forth. If you don't do it so good on one side, you can play with it until it flows. Keep your abs engaged, stay off your tailbone. I have to say this is my first holiday season I'm actually excited about because it means the temperature is going to come down from 90 degrees.
It better.
Okay, once again, we're going to bring our feet together. You might want to hold on to your blocks for this. If you're on the tighter side, you can keep the blocks behind. If you're on the looser side, you can move the blocks forward. I'm on the tighter side. Abs are nice and tight, chest is up, shoulder blades are down and back. You are going to do your little hip circles. So we also have to be able to open up the pelvic floor. So keep your abs nice and tight, because if it constricts when your legs are open, that's not so good. We want it to be able to do both.
10.
Opposite direction. So suddenly, sit-ups are going to make sense. Let the ball go into the small of your back. Now that we've worked pelvic floor. Shoulder blades are down and back. Okay, so your goal here is to first engage your pelvic floor. We're going to continue. Just tighten your pelvic floor. Don't tighten your butt. Don't tighten your quads. Tighten your pelvic floor. And then you can add second chakra, your lower abs. And finally, third chakra, your upper abs. And this is your sit-ups. Pelvic floor, lower abs, upper abs. You can even do it in that sequence and flow it through. Pelvic floor, lower abs, upper abs.
We're going to start belly dancing, right?
Yeah. That is a sign of strong core.
And amazing hips.
Yes.
And most belly dancers don't have six packs.
No, they don't.
I know, I was thinking that.
Yeah,
They don't have what?
six packs.
They do, they're just under.
Yes.
Yep.
Under voluptuousness.
Do it if they-
Yeah. But I follow this woman on Instagram. She does belly dancing, but she did yoga. And it looked beautiful. And they were even interviewing her afterwards. They're like, do you do yoga? And she's all, no, I do belly dancing. And she just flowed through all the motions since it was a vinyasa.
10.
Okay. Legs go straight. You're going to do the same thing. Now you're going to notice a strong tendency to want to use your quads, which is okay. But don't use your butt as you go pelvic floor, lower abs, upper abs. This is what pilots have to learn when they experience G-forces. Okay. Now, we're going to try it with our hands up. Abs are nice and tight, shoulder blades are down and back, pelvic floor, lower abs, upper abs. Now you really feel how your butt wants to get involved. Don't let it get involved.
But most importantly, try to really coordinate your breath as you contract your abs.
This is funny, but I had a friend that in college he was never studying. And one day he had to study for an exam. And he had a first floor window, and we'd all go up to the window, and we'd do this like we're riding horses, and we'd go by his window, back and forth while he's trying to study. Okay, here you go, bend your knees, same thing, suck in your tummy. Okay, now that you got that pelvic floor, lower abs, upper abs feeling, you're going to do it to left and right and then let the energy come out what would be what seems like a punch. Pelvic floor, lower ab, upper abs, punch. So now you're sequencing motion and you're figuring out how athletes get so specific on what they do. They get specific in moving their core into an extremity of their body. That's why you seldom see dancers doing sit-ups or gymnasts. It's just something that's part of what they do. Is that 10?
20.
Oh, thank God. Okay, roll over the top of the ball. We're going to find out if you actually used your abs. If you're in this position and you feel your low back, that means you use your psoas. If you feel the front of your hips, that means you use your iliacus. But if you feel right down the center, what would be your six-pack, that means you figured out how to use your abs. You can rock from side to side. So you can see how intimately tied the hips and the lower abs are, and the pelvic floor. And we're going to continue that. Coming to kneeling. The block's going to go in front of your left knee. Okay, you're going to be on all fours. Okay, we're going to do our pile driver move. You're going to go down and up, down and up. Keep your abs on the whole time. Lift and lower. Yeah, all the way down, all the way up. Up, don't forget that. Yes, there we go. Okay, we're going to quickly shift sides. Just notice if one side doesn't go down as far or doesn't go up as far, balance it out. Keep breathing. Okay, how many is that?
10.
Okay, switch sides again. Okay, you're going to keep your hip on the low side. So you're really close to the ground as you take your leg out to side using primarily your right butt cheek. Make sure the knee's leading, not your heel. Keep that knee low. Low, 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 low.
You're always cranking it up when you come over sometimes.
Okay, is that 10?
10.
Okay, now we're going to lift it up high. So lift the knee as high as you can. And now you're going to lift it out to side. You're going to be using more of your left butt cheek. Both elbows are straight. Do you feel your butts?
10.
Okay, switch sides. Low position first. No work should be in your shoulders. Leg out to side, you're using mainly your left butt cheek. Don't use your right butt cheek yet. Okay, knee goes into high position. Push the weight back so you're over your knee, and then lift that leg out to the side. Is that?
10.
Okay. Guys, feel your butts yet? We are. We're going to do some contralateral balancing, and then we're going to take it into one leg. So the reason why you guys felt it in your wrists and your upper body is this one piece we're going to do next. You're going to put the block under your right knee. You're going to take your left leg back behind you, your right arm out in front of you. So it should look like you're charging. Charge. Yes, you got it. Great. Now push the weight back, 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 back so far you can take both hands off the ground and keep that leg off the ground. That's how much work you have to commit to that front hip in order to make it work. Okay, let's switch sides. So if you can't commit that kind of work to your hip, you're going to put it in your wrist, and that's why people over time end up breaking wrists, because their butt weakens. Okay, so left leg in the air, right arm in the air. Get your balance first set. Abs are nice and tight. Push the weight back. And then take your arm up off the ground. Keep your leg up off the ground. It's okay if you bobble or weave. Oh. It's just fun. Okay, good. We're not required to do it if Mario can't do it. So it tells you how much energy has to go into your hips, especially when you go to fall. Transfer it back into your hips so it doesn't go into your wrists. Okay. How much time we have? We have enough time. We're going to do a simple hip mobilization. You're going to go into this position. No ball. So you're just going to go like this, and then you're going to lift your feet up. Then you're going to put them back down. This is so important. Okay, Mario wants to go all the way over the top.
Might as well.
Okay, go to the other side. This helps you get up off the floor without using your hands. And if you lose the ability to do this and you have to use your hands, you're not getting off the floor. So I had a client, I told this story, it's a horrible story. She couldn't do this, and I was asking her to do this, and she was mopping her floor, she slipped, broke her wrist, and she was so used to pushing off the ground, she spent 3 days on the ground. And her cleaning lady found her on the ground with a broken wrist, compound fracture. So make sure you guys can do that. So the next piece of this is we're in this position.
Or make sure you hire a cleaner and not clean
Yeah.
your own floors.
And you're just going to come up. You're going to use butt cheeks, and then you're going to go back down. Abs are nice and tight. Crew. I like that. 30 minutes.
You're at my house right now. Yeah. It's mine too.
Oh, is that what you guys do? That's the only reason you're here.
Yeah, that's it.
They threw you out.
Florencia and the scrubbing bubbles. That's him? You're going to switch sides.
They are the funniest.
Oh my God, they clean things I wouldn't have even want to touch.
This cleaning crew that Annie introduced us to, they're just amazing. They're like,
Filipino tornado.
yeah, Filipino
it would-
minions. They come into your house and they multiply somehow.
And they're like, do you want this screw cleaned? I'm like, okay. Yes, that's.
And they're always laughing.
Yeah.
They're the happiest. They're so lovely. Who is it?
Florencia?
It's a secret.
Florentina.
And
That's
they're
it.
so happy. They'll find like a plant in your yard and it's like, can I take a flower? That just makes their day.
Okay, come back into kneeling without using your hands.
Oh. You can, you just don't.
Yes. Okay, from this position, 1 foot goes forward. We're going to go into squat. Back down on the other side, back down. Then start with your left coming up, squat, back down on the other side. These are all functional movements. We have to be able to do these. Yes. So where I'm from in Santa Barbara, the average age of a first-time father is like 57. And so I used to teach a class for first-time dads. And I'm like, you got to get off the floor with the 10-pound weight in your hand and not use it as a counterbalance. Whoops. Is that 10 yet?
Everybody's getting higher and higher.
My favorite was the one where the guy goes like this. I'm like, that's your child. Okay, ball goes in there, small your left butt cheek, cross your left ankle over your right knee. We're going to roll out our booty. Yeah, it would all surprise me. I'm like, you're going to be a first-time dad. You have low back pain and hip pain. How are you going to pick up your kid?
How did you make your kid?
Yeah. But in this day and age, we're seeing parents be older, so it's a reality.
Well, even as grandparents, hopefully you can pick up
Yeah.
your grandchildren. Because grandparents are getting older and older, right? People are having kids later and later.
And we're going to switch sides.
Either you have to make the kids hurry up, or you have to stand treat.
I was talking to one of my clients. He's all, I don't want to go home and see my mom. And I'm like, why? He's 63. And he's all, because I don't want to go running. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She makes you go run? And he's all, no, she makes me go run with her. I'm like, wow. So you're stretching out your glute max piriformis complex. So this should not be sore at all. If it is, it's because you clench your butt all day long. And good, ball in the small of your back. We're going to arch away. Remember, no pain in your low back if you did it with your psoas. If it's in front of your hips, it's iliacus. But if it's down the middle, hooray! Arms over the top of your heads. Rock from side to side. If you've done everything correctly, your shoulders should not be sore. If they're sore, it means you use your shoulders instead of your abs, which is easy to do. Okay, we're going to come to our rollers now. We're going to do a little balance work. Since you guys all got this is great. Feet are parallel, knees are bent, knees are over the tops of your feet. Your head's on the roller, your butt's on the roller. First, second, thirds are engaged. Second, third chakras are engaged. Try to flatten out your spine against the ball, or roller. Why did I say ball? Okay, and here we start. Take both hands into the air. Abs are nice and tight. We're trying to core activate. So you're trying to get your core firing up without any leakage of energy anywhere else in your body. So move your left arm. And then after a few, move your right arm. You don't want this leaking out anywhere into your neck or your shoulders or your knees. It stays right where the motion needs to be because your core is stabilizing. Okay, good. Freeze your arms up in the air. You're isolating motion up. You're not wasting any energy. You're going to take your right leg into the air. All the work-related energy is going into your left leg. Your three extremities are directing energy outward. And now set those three extremities into motion. Okay, see what that feels like as you now switch legs. Once again, don't waste any energy. This leg's going straight up in the air. The work energy is posted in your right leg. Your left and right arms are sending energy out, and then set it into motion. Don't waste any energy. Notice when you do, where does it go? Does it go to your hip? Does it go to your shoulders, your neck, or your knees? Could it explain an injury that you have that's long term? Okay. Hands and feet to the ground. You're going to take both legs into the air. Hold them in the air. Set them into motion. No wasted energy. You use your legs all day long. They should be great at this. Okay, I'll give you a quick rest. Feet back down on the ground. Breathe. Legs go up in the air again. Now, right arm goes in the air. Energy through. Don't leak it out anywhere else. Send it into motion. Whoa, I leaked. And if you do, just figure out what got involved. Was it your shoulder? Was it your elbow? Was it your knee? And see if it explains a chronic injury that you have. And then right arm down, legs down for a second. Breathe. Both legs in the air. Left arm in the air. Set everything in motion. No leaking anywhere else. So going sideways on the roller is leaking because we're trying to direct the energy out each one of our extremities. That's a leak. So this is how much your core has to tighten up. Even if you do things like Pilates, we have a tendency to do this to save energy. And go ahead and rest. Go ahead and breathe. See what your body's been through. See if you accidentally put it in your neck. So the odd numbered chakras in your body, 1, 3, 5, 7, are stabilizing chakras. And they're masculine. The even number ones, 2, 4, and 6, are moving chakras, even 8, are moving chakras, and they're feminine. So breathe. But chakras aren't some weird esoteric thing. It's the best way we could describe energy in certain parts of our body and how we utilize it. You guys stay on top of your rollers. I'm coming off. Feel what it feels like to breathe. Feel what it feels like to have been through what you've been through. I went to play with one of my favorite friends this weekend who was sick, and I got sick. That was the ocean. You don't know how relieved I was when Maria told me that's why. So just see if there are parts of your body that are sick that other parts of your body come visit, and it makes the rest of you sick, and see if you could correct it. You can support it. And then, like dancers do, they don't just stretch, they flow through things. See if you can get the energy to flow. So then we remember we're living dynamic systems and not mechanical systems. The goal is to move through life as if you don't have bones. I know that's a weird thought, but as you walk through the day, never feel a joint, never feel a bone. Try to feel your muscles working and engaging, and see what that would feel like. Gently, ever so gently, roll off your roller onto your back. See what the ground feels like underneath you. You guys did an amazing job. And on behalf of Maria and me, we'd like to say thank you for being here, showing up, supporting us, and doing the crazy things we ask of you. We appreciate you guys so very much. And namaste.
Namaste.